Okay, so hello again. This is going to be the last video for this week. I'm going to take care of the final few activities. We have opened the software, we've logged in, we've played around with the dockability of panes and map views and so on, and we've used the View tab on the ribbon, we've used the Insert tab, we've used the Map tab, we've used the Navigation group of tools. The last few activities, or the last two activities, are going to start, really focusing on the connection between, attributes and what we have in our map, the layers in our map. Maps, because we have currently 3 maps open, and they're linked. We linked them together, which is still, I'm still amazed. But, we don't really need to have 3 of them opened and linked together. I'm just sort of, going along, and these are just introductory lessons just to play around with what, the software can do. So in the written document over here, pages 9 and 10 are the last 2 pages, and there's page 11 as well. They're going to take us from a point where we start to use some tools to zoom to specific locations or identify specific locations, XY coordinates. And I'm going to talk about position formats like decimal degrees or degrees, minutes, seconds. And there's a lot in these written documents, right? Let me get rid of my face because you don't need to see it. These written documents, we put them together to allow students to, be able to take your time and really get some deep learning on these introductory basic skills with working with ArcGIS Pro. So in Learning Activity 4, it's just all about navigating and exploring layers in our map views. And we're going to use a tool called the GoToXY tool. And in doing so, the hope is to get a better understanding of longitude and latitude in different position formats and what this GoToXY tool can do. We're also going to create some bookmarks. Bookmarks are kind of like saved positions, right? And you can interact with bookmarks and have a very powerful way of navigating around, whether it be a base map or even around your data. Okay, so it's these are all still things that are tools that can be found in the navigation pane, or the navigation group of tools, and let's get to it. So sometimes you need to navigate directly to a location on a map, without knowing exactly what the lat long or XY coordinates, or with only knowing those, right? So you can type in XY coordinates and see where you go. And I guess one of the lessons here is to understand that, for our purposes, we're working from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and that is west of the prime meridian, and it's also north of the equator. So we're going to start, just saying, if we're working west, we're working in a negative longitude. Right, and if we're working north, we're in a positive latitude, positive meaning up from the equator. So there's a little bit there as well. Okay, so where exactly is Sault Ste. Marie? And in the written document, it says where generally Sault Ste. Marie is. It's about negative 84.31 west in longitude, decimal degrees, and it's about 46 and a half degrees north of the equator in latitude. So, without going through a big process of, visualizing the Latin long on a globe and all of that, we're just going to, we'll be returning to these lessons in future classes when we start talking about coordinate systems and projections versus, projected data sets versus non-projected data sets and so on. So let's get to it. We're going to use the map tool, and we're going to be working with the navigate group of tools, and we're going to specifically be working with the GoToXY button. There is a table of positions down in number 4, you can see on this page, where you have specific longitudes and specific latitudes and specific scales to zoom to. Okay, so let's play around with that functionality, and then we'll get into playing around with adding some bookmarks, and that'll take us through number 4. And in number 5, activity number 5, we're going to start interacting with the map, and we're going to start getting into the inquiry group, which is where Esri has a world geocoding service, right, where you can right-click on a map and say what's here and find out what's there as far as addresses go and so on. I kind of started playing around with that earlier, but you can search for locations as well. So we'll be playing around with that, and that'll take us to the end of this week. We don't want to push too much in the first week, but this is the final installment, I guess you could say, or the final video for our work for this week. And I did say already once that there's an LMS quiz, and in that quiz there's going to be a bare minimum 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 questions that are relatively straightforward, but they are directly related to all of the activities and all of the theory and knowledge and skills that we learned in this week. And if you get all this done and you're prepared for the second class, you are going to be in a great position to do very well, and we as a group will be in a great position to accomplish a huge amount as far as an introductory GIS course can deliver. We'll be in great shape to move into successive weeks and start really doing some higher level things. So let's get to it. I'm going to keep this document on these pages here, and the first thing to do is to find where this GoToXY tool is, and when you do click on it, how does that work? What's the interaction involved? So in Arc, I still have this same ArcMap project open. This ArcMap project, I could just keep using it for the whole semester, and I could be adding more maps to it or connecting to different geodatabases and so on just in this one project, and just leave it as my project that I use for the whole semester. I could do that. But it can get pretty heavy if you keep adding tons and tons of data and you're connected to all of these different sources and so on. But I'm going to stick with this project. I may even stick with this project for a few weeks because we're not really doing anything super data intensive or anything like that, right? So anyways, again, here is my map and here's my cursor. You can see my cursor, you can hear me clearly, I hope, and practice navigating, zooming in, zooming out to larger extents, understanding a little bit about our planet, where the continents are. And the projection that we're currently using is a Mercator projection. This is the same projection that is used if you load up maps, right, in a web browser, whether it would be Bing Maps or Google Maps or whatever. So we're going to stick with that just because it is something that I think is relatively familiar for a lot of people, just because everybody, you need groceries, and you need directions to the nearest grocery store. You can dial that in, right? You're inquiring when you're doing that, which is kind of cool. So that is what it is. So where is this GoToXY tool? It is not on the View tab. Currently I've got the View tab activated. It's not there. It's not in Analysis. It's not in Insert, right? We're not inserting any new maps or any new elements into our project. What we're going to do is we're going to work with the maps that we have, and that means we're going to be on the ribbon interface using the Map tab and all of the tool groups within it. So the Navigate group, right, some review, we know how to explore, we know how to zoom to full extent. This is where we're going to be working with the GoToXY tool and Bookmarks. That's what's happening next, okay? So the GoToXY tool, if I were to decide, okay, here's a raster tile base map, and this is kind of cool to have, 3 different base maps all linked up, because when I use the GoToXY tool on any of the 3 base maps, and we zoom to specific coordinates, all 3 of them are going to zoom to specific coordinates at once. So that's kind of cool. So I guess, I have my raster tile base map activated right now, and maybe as another piece of review, I don't have a contents pane and I don't have a catalog pane, If I wanted to grab them, you know, I go to the View tab and say, well, I need my contents. If I go to my contents, I can turn it off or on using the View tab, right? So again, here it is, and my raster tile base map is sitting right there. My contents is connected to it. The catalog pane is right here, and I can activate that, and I could throw it over there if I want. But guess what? As soon as I start doing that, it's covering up all of my maps. So, right, I'm just going to leave my catalog closed for now. And maybe I'll leave my contents window open, but I'll just kind of make it a little bit smaller and just sort of tuck it away into the corner. Right? Just have it down there. No problem. No big deal. It's not in the way, really. Right? So here it is. My raster tile base map is active. And you remember that the contents pane only interacts with the active base map. The GoToXY tool is on the Map tab, and if I click it, left click, all of a sudden I've got this little dialog window that pops up right here. Right here. I should be able to move it. There we go. Right here. I can move it and drag it around. And sure enough, here's long and lat. Right? Longitude, that's your east-west. Latitude, that's your north-south. So what if I just randomly put in some coordinates here? If I want to go on the west side of the prime meridian, say I want to go 50 degrees west, and say I want to go 30 degrees north, where's that going to bring me? Where's that going to put me? I could actually just flash it just to see, well, where is that? Oh, it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So maybe that's not so great. Maybe I'll try negative 60 degrees and 30. Where does that put me? Not much further north, and I'm still stuck in the middle of the Atlantic. Maybe I'll go further north. 40. Where am I? Further north, 40. I'm almost at New Brunswick, Nova Scotia area. Let's go further west, negative 70. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just playing around. Oh, I'm almost at... What about negative 80? Where am I going? Where am I going? There I am. Oh, I'm on land. Cool. Now if I pan to it, it'll position my cursor, or position that location directly over the center of that coordinate, right? And I can keep flashing it. Now the thing here is, I'm zoomed out a little far, so you know I can bring this window and say, you know what, at that position, maybe I'll zoom to, I don't know, 1 to 1,000,000. That brings me in, and I can flash it again. Now I can see, wow, cool, I'm by Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is close to negative 80 by 40 as far as longitude, latitude goes. Okay, so I think we get the idea. You don't want to get these things backwards. Now, where is Sault Ste. Marie? Well, it says here that Sault Ste. Marie is negative 84.31 by 46.53. Let's get that set up. Negative 84.31 by 46.53, I think. Let's pan to it and see what I get. Oh, look at that. There I am. So let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm at 1 to 1,000,000, which is, you know, that's a regional scale. Let's go to 1 to 500,000 and see what that does. Let's go in a little bit more. 1 to 50,000. Let's flash it again. Oh, look at that. I'm right close to Sioux College. I'm not right on Sioux College, because I would need to add a few more decimal places here to make it that much more accurate. But what's kind of cool is I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and if I wanted to be right on the Sioux College campus, I could actually have a look and see, well, here it says I'm reading things in degrees, minutes, seconds. Or no, decimal degrees, sorry. It's 84.312. Let's flash that and see if it gets me a little bit closer. And I'm lined up a little bit more. What if I go 0.25? What does that do? Oh yeah, that's lined up pretty nicely. Now 46.53. What if I go 5.4? What does that do? That's too far. Too far north. 5.35. That's a half. Gets me close, but it's too far. So let's go 5, 3, 4. What does that do? Oh, closer. 5, 3, 3. Oh, 5, 3, 3. Bam. There it is. Now, Sioux College is exactly negative 84.3125 west of the prime meridian in decimal degrees. And for the latitude, it's exactly 46.533 decimal degrees north of the equator in latitude. Pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that, right? And I could make a little balloon, a little call out, right? Say, boom, right there, and it's calling out the actual position. Kind of cool, right? The GoToXY tool. It's pretty cool. Now, because I have my links set up, right? If I pan to that position, you can see it's showing up in all of my maps, whether it be the Google Maps or whether it be the topographic maps or whether it be this raster imagery layer that's built into the software, right? It's showing there. It's pretty cool stuff. I could just put a pin there instead. I could, and so on, right? And if I identify it, well, it's not really that exciting because all it's telling me is the world imagery layers that are available. And there's a whole ton of them because they're all nested in with each other to display at different scales, right? When you zoom out, you're not seeing the same image. When you zoom out, actually, the images change based on the resolution that you need, right? But those pins that were placed, they're going to stay there, and you're going to know exactly where that is. So kind of cool, right, to see how that works. Now, what did I just do? We added those little callouts or pins, right? And those are the graphics layers, and they show up in the table of contents, right? I can turn them on or off right here. It's a graphics layer. It's not a base map. It's another type of layer, right? They're just graphics that are put on screen. I can remove them because I don't really need them. Don't want them. Oh, you can keep them if you want, but whatever. I think we get the idea as to what we're doing and how that works. So in the Word document, it says some other things. It says don't get these coordinates backwards because it's going to send you to Antarctica, right? If you went negative, or if you went positive 84.31 and negative and 46.53 positive, that'll send you to Kazakhstan. If you went negative 84.31 in latitude, that's going to send you way, way south, or way, way north if you go positive, right? So there's all of these things to be careful with. Now I'm gonna demonstrate that because right, we have this number right here. I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna put it over here instead. And this one was what was it? 46.533. Right? If I go and I do that and I pan to that location, look at where I am. If I flash it, it puts me way down here in Antarctica. That's because I've mixed up the latitude and longitude. So you got to know what longitude and latitude are. Probably a good idea to review it, right? Longitude is your east-west. So you want to make sure you don't mess that up, right? So let's go back to Sault Ste. Marie. Getting a good handle on navigation requires you to have some knowledge about how degrees, like decimal degrees, work, right? And in the activity, it also, gets you to start thinking about using degrees, minutes, seconds as well. So, there's a table that has a few different locations, right? And in this video, I don't want to go to all of these locations and kind of take away the surprise, But it says to zoom to specific areas at specific scales. So I'll go through one. I'll go through the first one, which is negative 20. You know what? I'm going to get a notepad here just to help me out. just put a notepad here. I'm going to go negative 21. Oops, of course it's gone. Right there. That's my longitude. My latitude is 64.145. I'm just copying and pasting these out because I want to be able to easily find these things. So there's my latitude, and I want to go 50,000. Right? So this little position right here makes it easy for me to just grab these. Okay, I'll be using them in Arc real quick. So I have them over on my other screen. I can just manually type them in. So I've got negative 21.943 by 64.145 at 1 to 50,000. Okay, so let's pan to that location and see where we're at. Whoa, cool. You may not know where Reykjavik is. I'm probably not even saying that correctly. If you do know where Reykjavik is, then pretty awesome. It's in Iceland, right? Here it is. Reykjavik is in Iceland. That's where we just went to with the snap of a finger, with the GoToXY clickety-clack. There we go. We're there. Boom. Just like that. And that's it. Now, what if I wanted to switch this out to degrees, minutes, seconds? Okay, see what I did there? This drop-down menu has a bunch of different position formats in it. If you're working in, say, UTM, we'll learn more about UTM in future classes, but if you're working in UTM, you could. If you were working in decimal degrees, like we were just working in, you could. Degrees, minutes, seconds, you can work in that as well. Now, you may need to convert, decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. There's online converters all over the place. It's no big deal to pop that in. It's in fact quite a lot easier than it was in the old days when you had to actually do the math. So, this is, but you do need to understand the concepts. You need to understand what these position formats are. So I'm going to go to degrees, minutes, seconds, DMS, okay? And in the in the written document, not the Word document, there is some position formats here. There's one, I've got a longitude of 15 degrees and then 16 minutes and 22.8 seconds. So I'm going to put that into my handy dandy notebook, and I'm going to copy this over, and here's my latitude. And what scale are we looking at? 1 to 50,000. So does it matter whether you're using decimal degrees or degrees, minutes, seconds? Not really. Let's work with this. So if I put in, copy and paste that over by this, there's my longitude and my latitude. If I zoomed, and I want to be at 1 to 50,000, so I'm going to change my scale to 1 to 50,000. And let's pan to it. Where is this? I don't even know. Oh, I know where this is. I actually have done some work here. So this is Kinshasa, Brazzaville area. This is Republic of Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the Congo River in Africa. If you go a little bit east, you'll see a city called Pointe Noire, which is a pretty cool little spot. Okay, and that was that. That's what got us there. So again, oops, I missed it. We need to be at 1 to 50,000. See how quickly we can and effectively we can get our map view window to have the extent of a specific lat long. It's amazing how quickly you can get there using this software. Right? If you know your coordinates, GoToXY. What a great tool. I love it. Absolutely. Absolutely love the GoToXY tool. Okay? And that's really the lesson, right? We could take a screenshot of this, or we could add a bookmark of this saying, hey, I don't want to have to always type these coordinates in. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a bookmark of it right now. Bookmarks, right? I can just say new bookmark, and I'm going to call this one Brazzaville. What do I know about Brazzaville? Well, I've been there, but I can add a description of Brazzaville. What do I want to do here? Brazzaville. I'm just going to put a Wikipedia link in there, right into the description. This is the coordinates. I can paste in there as well, right? I can just say, well, this is, I can go longitude, if I can spell correctly, and I can go here, latitude. Am I not spelling longitude correctly? Probably not. That's okay. I'm okay with that for right now. I'll fix it in a second. Put my latitude in there. Why is it saying, oh, okay, yeah. Anyways, see what I'm doing? I'm just, we're going to call this, Brazzaville is in the Republic of Congo. And I'm just putting in a description, right? Just to, you know, kind of make it feel cool. There it is. I can make it italicized. You know, I can, this link right here would bring you to the Wikipedia page on it. And this particular bookmark is at a scale of 1 to 50,000. Like so, right? So if I click OK, what I've done is I've just saved a bookmark. And this is kind of cool because, you know, no matter what I do, I can zoom all the way out, or I can, you know, zoom to full extent like so. And if I want to get back to that bookmark quickly, I can just go back to my bookmarks and say, oh, I'm going to Brazzaville, and boom, I'm back at Brazzaville. It's really quick, and it saves you time. We are going to be learning about ways to save time. Knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. So if you're able to use the software and leverage its full capabilities, you are going to be very valuable as a person who is able to access information quickly, efficiently, and that makes you that much more employable, right? For many services or organizations or companies, right? Especially if you're working in the natural resources field. There's so much information involved. Okay, so creating a new bookmark is really, really quick and simple. I just did it really quickly there. I'll do another one. You know, let's make a bookmark for, oh, I don't know. Well, maybe I want to find a place and make a bookmark of it. That's where this other tool comes in. I'm kind of going a little bit off the path right now of the written document, because all of the instructions there are kind of chronological and kind of set you up in such a way to, you know, get there slowly. But I mean, I'm doing a demonstration here. I just want to demonstrate the tools, right? If you use the locate tool, you're inquiring about places and locations, right? The locate tool leverages Esri's geocoding service, the World Geocoding Service, just like Google has one, right? So, you know, if I click on the locate tool right here, I can search for stuff. I can say, where's Paris? Well, if you just say Paris and you say show all candidates, right away it brings you to the top hit, right? And zooms you right to, this is Paris, France. But look at this. What about Paris, Texas? If I double click, oh, there's Paris, Texas. Here's Paris in Ontario. Here's Paris, Tennessee. Paris, Kentucky. Paris, Illinois. Paris, Arkansas. Look at how quickly I'm getting to these places. The locate tool is powerful. It allows you, and you know, you want to make a bookmark of any of these places. Where am I? I'm at Paris, Arkansas. I don't know anything about Paris, Arkansas. I've never been to Paris, Arkansas. But isn't that not cool, right? So this locate tool, again, Paris, right? If I just say Paris and say show all candidates, I could zoom out and find out where all these candidates are. Look at this. It's showing you where all of the Parises in the world are. Isn't that cool? it's you know, it doesn't have to be Paris. It could be are there other places like, what about Montreal, right? Is Montreal is there only one Montreal in the world? No, look at this. There's Montreals all over the place. And within milliseconds, you can have access to all of them. Did you know that there's a Montreal in Missouri? I didn't. There's a Montreal in Georgia. It blows my mind, the power of these tools for grabbing very quick and simple and easy information and leveraging it to be able to use the tools, navigation tools and inquiry tools when you have active base maps are huge. Like, what an amazing set of tools. I get so excited, you know. It's you can laugh if you want, but like, this to me is unbelievable stuff. And we're just scratching the surface of what GIS software can do. So, you know, back to Montreal, Quebec, and you know what? I'm going to change my, I'm going to go to 1 to 10,000, and you know, this view window, unfortunately, is, you know what? I actually, I don't have a lot of space on my screen. You know, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that in future classes, we're not going to be working with 3 maps at a time. We might be working with 2 maps at a time, and see what happens. Now, instead of working with 3 maps, just having dual maps, you know, it's enough. And maybe I'll use a scale of 1 to 500,000 for Montreal. And look, here's your topo map on one side and your raster on the other side. I like that because you can see the a color image of the Montreal area, but you can also get some vectorized a vectorized map look with some reference data available for it as well, as far as labels go and so on. So it's cool. I'm going to stick to 2 windows from now on, and let's grab another bookmark. New bookmark, Montreal. Quebec. Okay, there it is. Description. Canadian city that is fun to visit. Whatever. I'm going to save it, and there it is. So now in my bookmarks, I want to go to Brazzaville real quick. Oh, there's Brazzaville. Oh, I want to go back to Montreal. There's Montreal. Did that in less than 5 seconds. Right, so there it be. You can import bookmarks as well. When you're importing bookmarks, they're coming from an external file. Okay, so an external file, meaning, you know, when you want to save your bookmarks, you can export them or you can save them out. So let's talk about that, right? So I created a couple of new bookmarks, and if I want to export them out, what I'm saying is that I want to use them in a different project, or I want to send them to somebody else to use. Okay, so think about it this way. You know, in the written document, I kind of talk about how you can use bookmarks to share with your friends, and I know that sounds really weird and nerdy, but it's cool. A bookmark, when you export it, you have to export it out as what's called a bookmark file, and there is a sample bookmark file that you can import into the project, right? So those are 2 things to think about doing. I'll show you how to quickly do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's not a big deal at all, to be honest. So if I want to, right now I'm exporting out a bookmark, and I'm going to make sure that I put it in an appropriate place. So where am I going to put it? How about in my ArcGIS Pro project? I could save it outside of that if I want, and let's call it test bookmarks, right? That's what I'm doing. I can delete it if I want, no big deal. But see, it's saving it as a particular type of file called a BKMX, or a bookmark file. It's going to have a suffix at the end of the name you give it. That suffix is going to be BKMX. Okay? I save it out, and there it is. Now, I can also import bookmarks. So if I want to import a bookmark, I just have to go and find one. I have, on my OneDrive, I believe I included a bookmark file on LMS for everybody. It's not very exciting, but it is pretty cool to see that, you know, an external bookmark file can be brought in. It's in my OneDrive, and I believe it is in, well, it's in this course. Module, this one, no, this one. And Introduction to ArcGIS Pro, it's in here somewhere. Is it not? Where did it go? Oh, there we go. Found it. Yeah, it's this one. Intro to Arc Pro Sample Bookmarks. When I bring that in, what's kind of neat is that I can go here and look at my bookmarks now, and now I have a larger list. And I've got the Forbidden City and St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. So let's go to Moscow. Boom, we're in Moscow. There is St. Basil's Cathedral. I want to go to the Forbidden City in Beijing. Did you see that it was just like snap of the fingers? It's like teleportation. Blows my mind. It really does. It just blows my mind what you can do with just bookmarks. Okay? Share them amongst yourselves. It's like trading cards. If people even still do that, right? When I was little, I would trade baseball cards and hockey cards. And this is kind of like it, I guess. Except it's way cooler. So there it is, right? Beijing, China, and you can still zoom out and zoom away, and we can go to the original bookmarks that we created, right? There's Montreal. This software is awesome for doing that. And again, you know, after you've learned about the import-export of bookmarks, creating new bookmarks, remember, right, that these bookmarks themselves, you can manage them too, right? So what I did is I just said go and manage bookmarks, because I've got a Brazzaville one here, and there's some information involved with Brazzaville. Here's Montreal. I just said it's a Canadian city that's fun to visit. Well, that's pretty boring, right? You can go in and you can edit these, right? You can change them out and make them a little bit more rich with regards to information. The idea of having information connected to spatial locations is what GIS is all about. And that's really what I have to say about bookmarks. Now, the locate tool is pretty cool too. I already said, you know, you can use the locate tool and find things. Now, is there anything else in the written document that I added in about the locate tool? Oh, the what's here bit. Right, the what's here is, I use the what's here and the locate tool. I kind of put them in the same category, but you know, in learning activity number 5, it's just, we're talking about the locate pane and the locate tool, and you know, finding different places, you know, whether they're cities and landmarks, businesses, geographic locations like mountains and big rivers or something like that, different addresses, specific coordinates, stuff like that, right? You can use Esri's World Geocoding service to find those places and zoom to them very quickly, as you saw me demonstrate. But the what's here bit is kind of like the flip side of that. Instead of searching it out on the attributes side, which is what you'd use the locate tool to do, it's kind of like you can be searching things out visually and be like, well, what's this? You know, what is this? What's here? That's what this tool is all about. So I'm going to do a quick demo on that, and I'm really just trying to tie this video up because, you know, you've already watched a whole bunch, and really, I think you're starting to get the hang of this, or at least I really do hope you are. So what's here? It should say Montreal. How did I even get that, right? All I did was just right click. The what's here is part of a right-click menu. When you have an open map, you are able to right-click on that map and find out things like what is here. Click on a feature or location on the map or scene to see the address and coordinate information about it. So Esri's World Geocoding Service is able to give you that as part of it, which is pretty cool. That's really it. I think that after watching, all of the videos that have been posted and doing all of this work, each of you have a little bit of practice to do, and you have the quiz as well. So I wish you the best of luck, and over the next few weeks we're going to be practicing this stuff and re-practicing this stuff, because I really want to give everybody the opportunity to get their skills, their basic skills in using the ArcGIS Pro interface down pat, so that we can start moving forward into working with symbology and working with selections and queries and even geoprocessing, working with those as well, and editing data and changing and modifying data. And, there's a lot to do in this course. So have some fun. Trade some bookmarks. It's okay to be a GIS, a friend of GIS. Anyways, that's it for me. Hopefully I'm still recording. If I'm not recording, I'm going to cry. Oh, here I am, still recording. So I just want to say thank you very much. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I just didn't want you to have to be staring at my ugly mug the whole time. So I will see you next week. Good luck on the quiz. If you're having a hard time finding the quiz, it is on LMS. You have to go to the assessments and click on quizzes, and you'll see that there is a quiz number 1 available. You're going to have multiple attempts to get whatever mark you decide is fair. Hopefully it's 100, right? And then you can move on with your life. And in week 2, we will be starting some new topics. Okay. Take care.